beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of Moss Music TV. I'm Chandler.
And I'm Michael. We are so honored to introduce the talent for this episode.
We also want to take a moment to thank everyone involved, the Far Out Lounge, Shaun, Megan, and Michelle, of course, also Ish and Dawn. Thank you guys so much for all your help, and of course you guys for tuning in and making this all worth it.
We start with a live set from a local band, Strange Lot, performing at the Far Out Lounge. They are on Moss Music Records. Go ahead and check them out.
After that, Dominic from Strange Lot goes to sit down with Nolan to talk about quarantine, the future, and their albums.
Finally, we take a road trip to San Marcos to visit the Psych Sisters and their insane vintage collection.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out all the links in the bio for the artist information. And, of course, donate to save our stages so we can hopefully see you guys soon. Enjoy!
Woo!
What's up, everybody? My name's Savannah. I'm here to introduce another fantastic taping of Moss Music TV, coming to you live from the Far Out Lounge in South Austin. We have one of our own badass bands on the stage tonight, ready to rock your socks off and melt your face. Without any further ado, Strange Lot.
you? Will you come to know me? When it's all lost on you, will you come to know me? They started coming at you like a million bees at once. This head ain't dead and yet no, I could never go alone. And it's all that comes to you, and it's all that comes to you, and it's all you know, you know, you know, you know, you know. We found the love they told, and it comes between us. When it's all lost on you, will you come to know me? We started falling from, I could never be alone. This head ain't dead and I could never lock it alone. And it's all that comes to you, and it's all that comes to you, and it's all you know, you know, you know, you know, you know. We found the lie they told you, when it comes between us. When it's all lost on you, will you come to know me? Alright. When it's all lost on you, will you come to know me? When it's all lost on you, will you come to know me? When it's all lost to you, will you come to know me? We found the lie they told you, and it comes between us. When it's all lost on you, will you come to know me? We'll find a way of the right color. This ain't about me or an empty room. Before I want to keep our own on the facts above. Oh no, you've given up simply on the face alone. Hold on, my ear.
Thank you so much for a strange lot. Thank you to Muse Music TV and everyone else that helped. Thank you so much.
Hello, beautiful people. Michelle with Muse Music Records here tonight, and we have just seen our beautiful friends from Strange Lots play. So, full disclosure, this band is on our label, and they are amazing. Just introduce yourselves.
I'm Dominic, I play guitar.
I'm Luis, I play bass.
I'm Tim, I play drums.
So, full disclosure, again, it was Tim, the drummer, when I saw them play for the first time that sold me. Like, look at this man's hair. It's amazing. Wait till you see this video. You've probably already seen it if you're watching this. So, what have you been doing on quarantine?
We have been quarantining actively. Just working from home, playing music.
This is one of the bands that are on our label, like I said before, and it is our first full album that we ever released, which is right here, and it's beautiful. So you guys had this already recorded before I met you.
Yep.
And where was this recorded at?
Flying Blanket recording in it's Mesa, Arizona.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
just
the
now.
band actually formed where?
His bedroom.
In my bedroom. Yeah.
In your parents' house?
Yeah. My mom's very proud of me, I'll have you know. I was just doing bedroom recordings, and then Tim and I were in a band, and I was playing the bass, and he was on drums, and then we said, screw this with the math, let's start our own band. He listened to the recordings, and now that's
House.
the end of it. Yeah.
With the beginning, middle, and end.
No, we just broke up just now,
Oh,
so
awesome.
we're done.
So please buy these records because I have a lot of stock of these records and it's a very good record.
Yes, it's just the beginning until COVID is eradicated.
So we released this album and I feel like we were very lucky. We had one of the best release shows, definitely one of the best release shows I've ever had. We had Christian Bland playing with us, and Hotel Vegas pretty much was packed out to the bones.
Yeah, Ron Mangoes were there.
Rod Mangoes. And then, of course, the plan was South by and go on tour. So now that you have been on this sort of COVID holiday, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
So are you going to go back on tour when everything opens up again?
Yeah, I mean, the label really wants us to tour, so
yeah, that
we,
damn label wants to sell some records.
we have to obey that rule, but
And
yeah.
west, east, which way are you going?
We were trying to do the whole
It's the south. Let's just go
yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do the whole thing. Do
No,
two
for
stints.
real.
Yeah, we
Really?
were. Yeah. We're trying to do
apparently
at least
Luis
one
didn't know
full
about
thing.
This plan.
Yeah. So we're trying to do the whole thing.
Just tell me when and where to show up.
Right? I think you're all very lucky because your jobs are somewhat flexible where you could actually go on tour and still be working from the road. One of the cool things is that the work from on the road, remotely, has become a way to earn your money.
As long as my boss doesn't see this, we're good.
Yes, boss, don't look at this, right? So, anything else that you guys want to share? So you've got a really cool thing. So Dominic, if you haven't seen any of our other episodes, which you should have, Dominic is our premier interviewer. So talk about what you're doing.
Yes, I had
Really cool.
I was thinking of how to network with other musicians, how they write their songs, and so I contacted a lot of my favorite musicians, bands we've played with. So I have interviews with Death Valley Girls, with Deerhoof, Daniel Rossen from Grizzly Bear, and quite a few others. But yes, those are going to be
Forthcoming.
Yes.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Anything else you want to share?
Hope everyone's doing well. We love all musicians doing art and any creatives. We hope you're supported and loved and that you make it through this.
I feel like Muse Music TV is a prime example of what happens when you just go around and you reach out to people who you know have the same interests as you and want to be creative. So that's it for us. See you next Tuesday.
We are Strange Lot.
Thank you for watching
Muse Music TV.
Oh my God, nobody's ever
Dominic here once again from Strange Lot with Muse Music Records to interview another local legend, Nolan Potter. Let's start with what you've been up to since the pandemic.
Not a whole lot, actually. I've been mostly working on music. This is like the first time in my life that I've had complete freedom to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Wake up, work on music all day, play Super Nintendo for a while, go back to music. Yeah, it's been, I mean, it's a really like hibernation period, you know?
Yeah.
Which I'm all about. A lot of people have not handled that the best, I think. But I'm totally fine not going to the bar, to be honest.
But what is a day when you wake up and write?
I feel like the first couple months especially, there was a lot of pressure to like, I should be like cranking out an album a day, you know what I mean? Like based on other people's like, oh yes, now I can work, like I have all this workflow, all this energy. And I was like feeling guilty that like I haven't come up with like 5 new songs today, you know what I mean? But that's just not how it works for me, I guess. I I had time to work on a lot of stuff that I've put on the back burner, which is awesome, but it's a lot of, I've been working on stuff that I started like 2-3 years ago that I forgot about, went through my hard drive and was like, oh yeah, that might have potential now that I've forgotten about it, you know? A typical day is like, I wake up pretty early, I drink my coffee, you know, I look at the news, I dread living on this planet for a little while.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, some days it's like, this is not going to be a day that I work on music, even though I could. I don't think it's necessarily healthy to force yourself to write something every day, you know?
Sure. How long have you been in Austin?
7 years. Yeah, 7 years. I kind of ended up in Austin like on a fluke too. I didn't really know that much about the city. I was friends with Holy Wave like a little bit from when they were on tour. I used to live in Michigan. And yeah, I was like, well, I know somebody there. And I spent my whole life in Michigan up to that point, and so yeah, I just did it. I think if I ever moved somewhere else, it would probably be the same kind of thing. I think about living in the country. I grew up in the country, like super rural town of 600 people in the middle of nowhere. But I do love solitary life. But I feel like you can have that in Austin still. It seems like a country kind of town even.
So then, how did the Nightmare Band come to fruition? What led you to this?
Like I said, I was a drummer for a while, and being in the back, even though I was like singing, I wanted full control over what was going on. Really, it was really a control thing.
Okay, Kevin Barker.
Exactly, yeah. Honestly, I mean, that was another thing too. Like when Tame Impala happened, it was like, oh, you can do this.
Yeah.
You know, one person can make an album that sounds like the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or whatever. You know, like it's not. There was a certain feeling in the early 2000s and 2010s that like you had to keep coming up with like new ways to play the guitar and new ways to make music as a band, and like, you know, how can we figure out how to tap in a new way over like weird mathematical time signatures and stuff. And I think Tame Impala was really influential in being like, you don't have to do that. You can make music that sounds like the music you like and still be unique, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was part of it, was just being a drummer and wanting to write music that I really wanted to play drums on, instead of just like playing drums on somebody else's song in a way that suited their song, you know. So I think I started like collecting recording equipment and borrowing a lot of equipment from friends. Yeah, basically just writing stuff that I wanted to play drums to and recording it and putting it on Bandcamp so it was all in one place so I could listen to it whenever I wanted. And then a couple of my friends started listening to it. Jason McNeely from Hotel Vegas was one of the first people that was really like, you should do something with this, you know? I had never thought like, why would this wouldn't fly as a band. It's just me like coming up with shit in my own bedroom, you know? Like, I had no idea the undertaking it would be to teach it to other people and to make it something that, you know, relatively marketable and something where like it could actually work on stage, which we're still having trouble with, but you know.
How has that been? Like, you have what, 7 people in your band?
7, sometimes 8 now, yeah.
How was that? How was the vetting process? Like,
it's weird. I mean, it's not 1975 anymore, you know? Like, there was no, like, formal audition process. There was never, like, I can pay you this much to play this many shows or whatever. Yeah, I think that the group of people we have now is like a collection of some of the most talented people in Austin as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
We're not like music school people necessarily. Like I went to music college for like a semester before I realized I could just learn all this on the internet, you know? But it's not like that where it's like, you know, you're hired for a job. I want you to play this insanely complicated thing, and if you don't, you're fired, you know?
Are you sitting down with each individual member and showing them the part? Is it up to them, their responsibility to just listen to the record and learn it?
Yeah, and there's some leeway. Like, I don't expect it to sound exactly like what I want it to sound like in my head. That would be the ideal, but that's like, it's like the Play-Doh vision of the shadows in the cave, you know what I mean? It's like, as long as it can look, if it sounds like the shadow, I don't need it to sound like the thing outside the cave, you know what I mean? Like, let's just get it as good as we possibly can. And a lot of times the stuff that I record is not, like, I leave in a lot of mistakes. I leave in a lot of, like, improvisations and stuff that's not really meant to be completely duplicated, you know? But yeah, we sit down, I mean, 3 of us live here, so we can all get together and work on parts individually. And then I'll send out demos as they come and have people learn stuff. But everybody's pretty good about riding that line of like, I want you to be yourself and play like yourself, you know, but it has to be right.
It has to be in the same key.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
So you just released a record, well, earlier this year on Castle Phase. Tell me how the album came to fruition. It seems like a very cohesive piece of work.
Yeah, I think it's because we called those songs out of stuff that I had already done on Bandcamp that we had been practicing since the like earliest inception of the band. Like, these were the songs that I forget how many songs there are, 8 or 9, 10 songs, something like that. And that was like our entire set at that point. Wow. And yeah, I thought when Castle Face approached us about making a record, we could have just gone into the studio and came up with something on the spot, but I felt like that wouldn't necessarily qualify as Nolan Potter's Nightmare Band because it would be more of a group effort. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but but yeah, so it's basically like the best sound that we could get out of the songs that we were working on at that moment, and I think that's why it kind of sticks together. Is because it felt like we were just playing a live set, you know? A lot of it was recorded all together in a room with, like, we had 2 drummers, and I had like a chopstick or something, was conducting to the metronome, and it just had a really, like, together live feel, which is something that I can't get on my own, you know? Like, I can never play the drums and the bass at the same time. I'm sure my solo stuff would be a lot better if I could, but I'm really proud of that album. Like, we threw everything at it that we possibly could. We used every instrument that was in the studio we were working at. We layered everything up, and it almost has like this orchestral feel to it now.
It definitely has that orchestral feel to it.
Which I like. I mean, it separates it enough from the original songs that were already recorded, already released, that it makes it worth recording it again, I think. But yeah, that was the idea, is that we want to get a really good, solid, square canvas to throw shit at, you know? And then we threw everything at it. Like, every weird synth that was lying around, we'll find a use for it, you know? It was like, we went full, like, Pet Sounds. I mean, to the most of our ability, but at least the same sort of approach.
I heard a dog barking. I heard the didgeridoo.
There's a dog in there, yeah. Yeah, there's some weird stuff. Because that was the thing that I wanted to maintain from my solo stuff, is that there should be mistakes in music. I feel like now popular music and even like local music is very polished. Like, I've had so many experiences with other bands that aren't my band of like, we go into a studio and somebody's like, oh, don't worry about it, we're gonna quantize the drums later. It's like, why? Like, make him play it right. You know what I mean? Don't count on the computer for anything. That's my philosophy, at least.
So then, that being said, you know, writing on your own, what do you write with that goes all the way through? What's the bass?
The bass.
Usually.
A lot of times the bass will start it, and then or it's a lot of times piano, depending on the song. It's always something all the way through. I hardly ever loop things, you know. Certain songs, I guess, have like chunks that I'll do the piano chunk first and then add drums, and once you add drums, it feels like a legitimate song. You know what I mean? Up until then, I'm like, this is terrible. Nobody's ever gonna listen to this.
And how do you come up with ideas? Like, do you try to gain influence from people or bands?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's another thing too that I'm not at all afraid to wear my influences on my sleeve.
That's
I
great,
think, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I steal all kinds of stuff. I feel like the best composers steal all the time, you know? Yeah, so I think like taking little bits of melodic ideas or rhythmic ideas and then, you know, morphing it into your own thing is definitely part of composing.
What direct influences would you point to for this record?
Each song kind of had its own set because we wanted to make an album that sounded like one thing, but each song is very different, you know? We looked at a lot of Mahavishnu Orchestra, and I'm gonna name a bunch of bands who are like so much better musicians than us, so don't take any, don't take, you know, like we try.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Mahavishnu Orchestra was a big one for a lot of like the guitar tones and the way that the violin and the guitars work together.
I see.
Yeah, Zappa for sure. Like Seahorse Retreat was one of the most fun songs to make on there, and we took a really Zappa-esque approach to it, I think. There was Dosing the President, which we took a big influence from like Hawkwind and the Stooges.
Yeah.
Gong was a big influence. We listened to a lot of Gong. There's a lot of Todd Rundgren. But yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on. I feel like I have an actual list written down somewhere.
How do you know when to keep going? How do you know where to go? When do you say stop, this is done?
I think the only time that something is done is when you just force yourself to say it's done. Or somebody else has to tell you, no, now it's done. Because, like, for myself, and especially now with no oversight at all, like, I can do whatever I want to my abilities. But,
John Dwyer's standing right behind you saying no. So.
Exactly. No, yeah, I always thought he'd have more of a... Like, no, yeah, tone it down a little bit, but no, that guy does not care.
Yeah.
Like, throw everything at it that you can. Yeah, I think nothing's ever done until you just put it out. I think that was another initial inspiration for starting Nightmare Band, is that I want this to be a band that kind of flies in the face of every, like, convention of modern music or modern rock band music, you know? Castleface has been so supportive the whole time. They've never told me, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. Oh, you have 8 people in your band? Yeah, never mind. I think John gets it, you know? I mean, he's definitely a maximalist kind of dude in his own way. Like, he has a small band, but they put out so much sound and so many records.
Yeah.
And every idea is a good idea.
Well, let's take a look at the
Yes,
awesome album artwork.
I have the record now.
Yeah.
Yes,
beautiful.
The album artwork is by Adam Alkadem, who's an extremely talented dude out of Houston. Just the process of making this with him is like deserves its own documentary. The best album covers are ones you can stare at for the entire length of the record.
True.
You know.
What else do you have coming out? What's on the horizon for Nolan Potter?
The next thing I am doing is a tape release with Muse Music Records here in Austin, and the tape is called Eggbound. It's an hour long. At first, the idea was like it's gonna be a collection of like unreleased demos, little ideas I had, and it's kind of come together now in the last few weeks as like a more cohesive album in its own right. Kind of a collage of an album, you know? Yeah. There's like little bits and pieces that come here and there. I think the best stuff that I do is stuff that I make, forget about, come back to way later, and then make something out of it. And this album is entirely that.
All right, so on top of all these amazing questions we had prepped for you, we have one fan question from someone that you might know.
Okay.
And it is Ryan from Holy Wave.
Oh my god.
So
okay.
I will hand this to you. You may press play.
All right.
And see what he has to ask you.
Ryan.
Hey, what's up, Nolan? Long time no talk. Hope you're doing all right. I got a couple questions for you. If 2020 was a genre of music, what would it be?
Oh god. Like grindcore, maybe? But grindcore, but with like songs that are like 30 minutes long, and you're just like, please be over already.
The drop never comes.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like a really long King Crimson song, you know, where you're just like, God, this is so depressing and majestic at the same time.
If 2020 was a movie, who would write the score?
So obviously the movie is Human Centipede.
Right, yeah. I'm thinking of like the score for like Aguirre the Wrath of God by Werner Herzog. Misery and death and people dying in like the Amazon.
Well, on that note, it was a pleasure talking to you.
You too.
Love learning about the record. Love learning about what you're doing. I'm excited for Eggbound, assuming that's what it'll be
Absolutely,
titled.
yeah. Oh, and another Castle Face record coming after that, which I will discuss in the future. But be on the lookout for that. This is the official announcement. I almost
Awesome.
forgot it.
I'm Dominic from Strangelot with Moss Music Records with Nolan Potter. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I'm Nolan Potter from Nolan Potter's Nightmare Band. You're watching Moss Music TV.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Lindsay. I'm with Moss Music TV. Welcome back for another episode of Behind the Scene. Today, we are here in beautiful San Marcos, Texas, just south of Austin, with Emma and Grace, the creators of Psych Sisters, an online vintage shop. Can you tell me about what led you into the world of selling vintage fashion?
I think it was kind of like an accident. We never ever planned to sell it. That was just like something that came along. We've been collecting vintage for 13 years now. We started when we were like 11. Is that 13 years? Or 24? Something like that. Math.
Yeah.
So we've been collecting it for so long, and like we had so much that we were like,
There's nothing else that
we need
can
to
do,
start
but,
selling it so we can like make room, because we love collecting. Like collecting is definitely more of our passion than selling it, but recently when we've started to grow our business, it's like become a lot more fun to sell.
Yeah, because we did try like 5 years ago to sell it, and it was the most massive failure.
Were you trying online, or did you? Okay. Wow, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So just saying, for anyone out there who ever tried and failed, yeah, you have to try again.
That's great. That's great advice.
Because it was seriously, no one bought anything.
What made y'all try doing it on Instagram, like the Instagram stories, which have been, hugely successful, as we have noticed. I know I have brought a lot of stuff off there.
Thank you so much. I think that it's just the ease of using Instagram. It's just so much easier than like uploading it to Etsy or Depop. You don't have to like make a listing and you don't get charged a fee as well, which is really nice. So yeah, it's just super easy. And we just do it really quickly.
It forces people to look at it. Like, I don't know, even if people don't want to look at it, they click at your story and then they're like, oh, or something. You know what I mean? Like, some people won't go through the effort to go into your bio and click, like, shop my Etsy or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be like, just move on, whatever.
Do y'all use any other platforms besides Instagram?
Well, we have an Etsy, but I think we're gonna take it down because no one looks at it.
Yeah.
Like, even now, people still don't look at our Etsy. We thought about making a Depop as well because I think that's more up and coming, like with younger people.
Yeah, of course.
But I just, like, why fix it if it's not broken, right?
It's very true.
Yeah.
Well, everything you post is so beautifully curated. What inspires that wonderful aesthetic that you have and have been consistent with?
I don't know.
You can go, you don't want to...
We just love, bright colors and anything that's fun and like crazy patterns. And I feel like we've always just had a really like good knack for pattern mixing. And so like that's something that really inspires us. And as we've gotten older, being twins has become something that we love so much that we just wanted to share our love for fashion and being twins with everybody.
Yeah, it's adorable. How would you describe y'all's own personal styles separately? Like, if you could describe your own personal styles.
It's like the same, I think.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
hard to
similar.
separate.
Yeah, it's hard to distinguish. I mean, if you asked us that question like 5 years ago, we could definitely say a difference.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I would say
Like every single thing that we own is something that we share. Like we buy something and I said we because we buy it together. And I'm always like, let's split the cost of this or that, and then we buy a lot of clothes.
Nice. Well, what is y'all's favorite parts of an outfit to wear?
I think my favorite part is probably like a tie or a scarf and pins, like the little details.
Oh yeah, y'all do have a lot of
accessories.
pins. Huh?
Oh my gosh.
We have probably over 1,000 in our collection.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
It's really hard to keep up.
Yeah, I tend to lose them. So.
Oh yeah, I've lost a lot of them. They're just floating out in the world somewhere.
Yeah. So how do y'all source y'all's pieces, and like, what are some of your favorite shops around town?
Well, at first, like we said, we just sold off what we already had, but so in the beginning, it was kind of like we didn't know how to source. You just kind of figure it out as you go. We were buying on eBay a lot in the beginning, which is definitely cool. If you can find, I mean, I feel like so many people could get deals if you just go on there, and you have to literally look
For hours,
like every day, and make sure you have all these saved listings. And I feel like people could definitely find really good deals on there because we've been able to resell some stuff and make a profit. And also just like estate sales. Sometimes you don't find that many clothing items, but we've gotten so many cool pieces from estate sales. But that's another thing, you just have to go. Even if the picture on like the estatesales.net looks like it has nothing vintage, you never know. You just have to go.
What's the most wild piece that you've found so far?
You think it's the boots?
Yeah. It's definitely the boots.
Okay.
I found this pair of boots. We actually got them off Facebook Marketplace, which is another kind of random place to look.
Yeah, like kind of like Craigslist.
Yeah, it's like Craigslist. You also have to dig on there. But I found this pair of boots that this lady was selling, and I can go get them if you want to see them.
Do we want to see them? Yes.
Yeah, you can't even describe them.
Whoa. Those are amazing. So tell us about these boots.
Okay.
Make me want to cry.
So I got them from this woman named Sarah, and these were her boots. She told me that she bought them in 1971 and that she only wore them for special occasions. I mean, they're in amazing condition.
They're in like
they look
mint
pretty
condition.
much never worn.
And yeah, I told her that we're gonna treasure them, and we probably won't ever sell these.
No.
But she was only charging. She charged $45 for these, which is insane. These boots like go for like $400 online.
That's amazing. Well, who's gonna get to wear them first?
Depends on whose calves fit in them that day.
Yeah. We have very fluctuating calves.
Interesting.
Wants to know.
So what future endeavors do you have for y'all's brand, Psych Sisters?
I think that we just want to keep growing the business. If that means selling more vintage, that would be fun. I don't think we'll ever stop looking for it, but like how we said, we just love collecting it. Whenever I go out, it's looking for ourselves first and foremost. But we would also love to make our own designs one day.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I love trying to find old patterns in thrift stores and stuff. Like you can find old sewing patterns.
Oh, I love that. I have so many of those too, because I just can't leave them behind.
So, do you have any tips or advice for someone new to thrifting?
I think it's just going every single week.
Consistency.
You just gotta go and keep going.
Because there will be some weeks where you'll go and find absolutely zip.
Yep.
And you'll be like, well, that was pointless. I mean, like sometimes Grace and I drive like an hour and a half to get to some places that we go to, and it'll be complete bust. But sometimes you find, even if it's just one piece, if Grace and I can find one piece, even like a scarf. If I find a scarf that I think is cool, I'm like, it was worth it. Look at the scarf,
right?
Yeah,
I feel that way too.
I do.
Yeah, I would definitely just say consistency.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, that's amazing. Let's see. If you were only allowed to wear one color for the rest of your life, what color would it be?
Lime green.
Lime green. Y'all said it at the same time. Amazing.
It's definitely the best color,
Yes.
yes.
I do see a lot of
lime
lime
green.
green in y'all's house.
Oh my gosh. If I could like shift most of this to lime green, I would totally do that. I would love that. I'd love to have one whole room in our house one day that's just lime green. That would make me so happy.
Yep. So I know y'all are in the music scene. Is there a band that you would have always wanted to style for, if y'all could do that?
Well, we love styling and stuff like that. I would love to style anybody that would want to. I'm like constantly looking at people and like imagining them and stuff that I would wear. Like, what would I do to like change up their style or something?
I know. I feel like music and fashion go hand in hand.
Oh yeah,
Definitely. I think it would be fun to style, what's Devin Crimson's band?
Oh yeah, the
They're
knee
really,
highs.
because it's an all-girl band, and that would be fun, because like we don't have that much men's stuff, so like an all-girl band would be really fun.
Oh, that would
to
be
style.
that would be a really fun band style.
Also, I really, if we did have men's stuff, I think like the lemon twigs would be fun to style.
Okay. Do y'all want to talk about some of y'all's favorite pieces, or like,
Sure.
and maybe you could show us some stuff?
Yeah.
These sets are one of our favorites, definitely. These matching. This is another brand that we love, Denise Art here. So adorable. This one is a shirt and it has little matching shorts.
Are you kidding me?
Which, yeah, we basically screamed for hours when we found the dress. We found this first on eBay, and then this dress, and we didn't even care. Like, we were like, whatever we have to do to get this dress, we have to get it.
Yes, it's really fun to try and find matching stuff that either was in like the same print or it was the same exact like pattern. And like these ones are really fun that we got that match.
We got these from a store based in California called Shop Worship LA. I think it's their Instagram.
They're really
so
fun.
definitely check them out. They're a cool store. This is something I purchased on Etsy. It's 70s era.
Is that Girl Scout patches?
Girl Scout. Well, it's technically Girl Guides. It's Canadian.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's 70s.
She was a star, whoever she
Yeah,
was.
Barbara. She got
Her name
so
was
many
Barbara
patches. Fander. Good job, girl. You're a really good Girl Scout. This is probably one of our other favorite thrift finds of all time. We found this one in Charleston. We lived in Savannah for a short period. Grace and I would drive over to Charleston all the time just to like check out what was happening. I don't know. And eat food. We would drive like, how far away is it? Like 2 hours? I don't know. We drive to eat food. We drive to eat food, okay, all the time. But I saw this and flipped because I've been, you know, a lot of people in the vintage 60s style have these capelets, and if you look for them on Etsy, they're really expensive and hard to find. So I don't even know, like, why was it in this random thrift store, but that's why you have to just keep looking. Yeah.
I feel like that's an easy one, like a pattern to make too.
It doesn't seem like it would.
I don't think it'd be that hard.
The hardest part is this like type of embroidery situation, and like the quality of the velvet's really nice too. It's the only thing I could think, because you definitely can't purchase velvet that nice at like Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Oh.
Are you kidding?
Dying.
You're killing me.
Probably my favorite vest that we own. Although, where's the other one?
The maxi French vest?
Yeah.
Is it in that closet?
Oh no. The pit of despair. Not in there. Oh yeah, pull that one out too.
It looks like a black hole.
It is a black hole in there.
Oh no.
Ooh.
So I don't even remember.
Fringe to the floor.
But
I got it a long time ago on the internet somewhere. Yeah. It's so long I can't even really wear it because it drags. But I thought about cutting a little bit off the bottom, but I just don't want to because it's so perfect. Let's see. This is another cool rare item that we have.
Oh, those are the boots I thought y'all were talking about.
Yes, these are also
they're boot pants.
Yes, these are called panty boots. They're pretty hard to come across, but yeah, there's some This is actually one of the...
I can't believe that hasn't made a comeback.
What's the
They actually have been on the runway, something kind of similar, but with like a pointed heel at the bottom.
Okay.
But I have seen them a couple times, but nothing this cool. And I love wearing these and like freaking people out because they don't know their pants, and I can just be like, woo, they're pants. But yeah, we got these at this cool event called, if there's ever events again, called A Current Affair. They have it in California and New York. Basically, it's kind of like a flea market for like it's upscale for sure, which is why we were shocked we even came across these for an affordable price. I don't think we're really even that into like designer at all, even from the 60s or 70s. I really appreciate just the handmade pieces.
Same.
That
Yeah.
someone's mom or
Right.
grandma made, and it's put so much love into it. And
it's also a one of a kind piece.
Exactly. And yeah, it's just it's awesome. I love vintage for that reason, thinking about where it came from and who wore it and what's the story. We're the Psych Sisters and you're watching Muse Music TV.